and back for a little friendly discussion. We're so pleased to welcome in the gentleman from Madison, Wisconsin, from Progressives United, Josh Orton. Josh, we want to give you a second bite at the apple on this very difficult topic. You represent Progressives United. Are Progressives United to see the president take executive action on this proposed amnesty?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Look, I'm really confused about what I'm hearing from Republicans about President Obama taking executive action. Look, I think it was okay when Republican George W. Bush was commander-in-chief and fought terrorism in the Middle East. It was okay when Republican George H.W. Bush raised taxes. And it was okay when Republican Ronald Reagan took executive action on immigration to shield certain immigrants from a new immigration system. But somehow it's not okay for President Barack Obama. And I think now, 6 years into his term, might be a great time for Republicans to realize that he is our commander-in-chief, he is the president, and it is absolutely constitutional and appropriate for him to take this executive action, especially in light of a Congress that refuses intentionally, politically, to do absolutely nothing.
Now, let's hold on just a second, Josh, and let's go back in history and take a look at a couple of those chief executives you made mention of and actions that you say were unilateral executive actions. What President Reagan did, and indeed what President George H.W. Bush did, was in relation to a passed and signed bill, Simpson-Mazzoli, a bipartisan act of Congress. What the president is proposing to do right now, President Obama, is to move proactively, to move prospectively without a new statute that may need clarification or amplification, essentially making law by executive decree. That's what's troubling so many people. It's not a personal animus toward this president. It's a constitutional problem. He's doing this by decree, not by enforcing the laws as they exist.
It's interesting. And look, I know, JD, you represented a border state for a long time, so you know the ins and outs of this better than anybody. But looking at the way that Congress has operated over the past couple of years, what I've seen is a Republican Congress, starting when Mitch McConnell spoke in early 2009 about how his first priority was to make sure that President Obama wasn't reelected. I'm looking at caucuses of Republicans in both the Senate and the House, and especially sort of the rump Tea Party end of the Republican House in Washington, absolutely refuse to do anything, and in fact make it a strategic imperative to make sure that comprehensive immigration reform, even though it's supported by a majority of people, even though that it's the sane thing to do, we understand that it has to be done, that it's been on the burner for quite some time, refusing to get it done, intentionally in order to jam up President Obama. And look, I think President Obama is just dealing what he sees is the reality in Washington. No matter
I tell you what,
Brown,
we'll take that at face value for a second, Josh.
Sure.
Since you've set up this hypothetical that I believe is taking liberties with history as it exists, I will give you a clear hypothetical. Suppose those begging to come into the country were going to register as Republican voters at an 80 percentage point clip. Would you be so willing to allow these, quote, new Americans to have this type of status?
Yes, because I think it would,
right. I don't think so. Now, be honest, Josh. Be honest.
I think it would mean the Republican Party would look a lot different than it is today, and the Republican Party would support opportunity, would support investing in America.
Oh, that's just a little. That's a little too facile. Come on now. I don't have you under oath, but you know and I know this is all about politics. It is not high-minded. It is first, last, and always about politics. How else do you explain the president doing a 180 from just a year ago, saying he couldn't get it done?
We both know, we've both worked on the Hill. We both know that it's nearly impossible to separate the policy from the politics in any proposal in Washington, D.C. But look, I think it's clear this is not his first term. This is
all
not
right,
his first
fair
year,
enough. Unfortunately, we're up against the clock. Josh, thanks so much.